Okay, we'll move on to the next question, which is in relation to non-residential parking provision. Do you agree with the restrictive nature of the council's parking requirements for non-residential land uses? Any points on that?
Well, this is probably the best question to speak up in support of Councillor Chalkley's motorcycle policy. It's not directly relevant, but I think the real point is that there should be, with car parking generally or motorcycle parking generally, there should be a polluter pays policy, and to have a modest pricing signal which directs people towards more sustainable modes of transport like public transport and away from, for example, motorcycles, which in about 3 of the categories of pollutants are by far the biggest single contributor, like benzene and methane, and they're a very big contributor of fine particles. But also I think it ought to be more broadly as part of a policy of discouraging diesel use in the city area, because diesel is between 2 and 20 times more deadly than petrol when it comes to hazardous emissions, and there should be some appropriate pricing signals in that direction as well.
Thank you.
I thought the question, I'm not sure I understood the question, because I don't think we've had explained what is the restrictive nature, but my understanding is if you build a new office development, commercial, you're hardly allowed any car parking space at all.
That's correct,
yeah. Yes, it's minimal. So I support that, and I'm always laughing when I look at the car park at City Hall here, where we actively encourage chief officers to drive in and out of work and supply them with a large car, and they can park. And this wouldn't happen on a new development when City Hall is demolished one day, hopefully soon.
Not while we're in it, though, John.
Yeah. Well, maybe just cement in the basement, or put lots of bike racks in the basement for the staff. But I think the restrictive nature on a commercial development is correct, but maybe someone can explain exactly what it is now.
Yeah, your interpretation is correct, that currently we have quite restrictive low levels of parking as maximums for non-residential development, and the intention, the question is asking if that approach should continue.
Well, I support that.
Thank you.
Can we just back up? I'm joined by Tony, and I know Tony's got some fairly strident views on point 11, and I just wondered if you wanted to make a point, Tony, because we're ahead of schedule, so we might have, in the event that you've come here for that specific point, I wouldn't want to see you miss your opportunity.
Or yours, Tony.
Or mine. Yeah, mine.
Thank you. I'd just like an update really on what we've discussed at Council recently. I think I asked a question to Councillor Davis at the last Council to do with the whole issue, particularly major developments, and whether they should be car-free, whether there should be a special res park, which I think is the way we're going, subject to discussions between the council and the developer and the particular major developments we're talking about. And I wondered if that had moved forward at all, and you'd have the chance to express your view, Danny.
Well, Tony, we are not here. You're not here. I'm not here. Sure. You're not here to ask questions of the council, and I'm here to answer them this evening. You're here to express your views. Well, so if you have a view, please air it.
I think the view that many of my residents have, not all but many, is that effectively when it's a major development, without naming the major development I'm talking about, I think most people will know, a lot of my residents would be happy if we did have either a special resident zone, therefore they can't have both parking in that development and access to parking throughout Westminster.
Okay, so you support the proposition that the council should create new parking zones for new developments, where appropriate?
Where appropriate, subject to consultation, obviously.
Excellent.